Welcome to The Next Stage, a podcast that brings together the professionals who support seniors and their families through life's major transitions. Hosted by Isaac Tallwin from the Krygier Wealth Management team at RBC Dominion Securities. From home care and downsizing to estate planning and legacy protection, we highlight the people making aging easier. And now, your host, Isaac.
All opinions and views expressed by the speakers are not representative of views and opinions of RBC Dominion Securities, Inc. All information and opinions provided in this video are in good faith, but without legal responsibility.
Today, we are honored to have with us Laurie Lathem from Chartwell.
We do have people who think of retirement homes like a nursing home, and they envision something from the 70s. Communities are built to help people, thrive, not just survive anymore. Thriving 3 weeks later, surrounded by new friends and having dinner and going out, look at it with the lens of positivity. This is a great time to live your life, and we can help you do it.
Laurie, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me, Isaac.
So, Laurie, can you give us a little bit of an overview about Chartwell and your role within the organization?
Sure. Chartwell is a Canadian-owned retirement company, and we have, I think it's about 170 locations across Canada in Ontario, Quebec, Ontario, and BC. And our services range from that healthy, independent senior all the way through to someone who needs much more care, including memory living.
So it's a huge organization, and your role, you have experience in the hospitality industry.
I did, yes.
How did that shape what you're doing now?
It shaped it in a lot of ways. There's a lot of similarities between the two. What I took with me from hospitality was the customer service aspect of it, really making sure that we deliver great experiences from a resident, and really not just treating our residents like guests, but like family.
When people come to us, they have some preconceived notions of what a retirement facility looks like. They'll often think of it as a sterile environment, a place where they may lose some of their independence. Are these common misconceptions you find when it comes to retirement living?
It can be. We do have people who think of retirement homes like a nursing home, and they envision something from the 70s, but it's really not like that at all. We have a lot of homes that offer really independent lifestyles. People also think of, you mentioned the loss of freedom, but really we have so much to offer and so many opportunities that people don't have when they're living at home. The chance to make new friends, to try new things, and those are some of the things that people don't realize when they're moving into retirement. It's not what they think.
Someone's living in their home, they don't often realize the amount of maintenance or management that goes into it. So someone could be spending 2 hours a week just on lawn care. And when they move into a retirement home, all those things kind of fade away. Is that something that you advocate for?
Absolutely. Who wants to spend their time doing dishes and mowing the lawn and housekeeping? When you move into Chartwell, all of those things can be done for you. And many residents still enjoy doing their own laundry, but you have the option of having someone else take care of that, which gives you more time in your day to do the things you really want to do.
And there are different levels of retirement care. So there's independent living, assisted living, memory care. How do you categorize and manage all these different levels within Chartwell?
Well, some of our communities offer all three levels, and the independent supportive living is really for people, like you said, that don't really want to do the chores anymore. They really want to live their life, and they may need very minimal support. Whereas our assisted living, we may be helping with things like bathing, dressing, or other things in the day, but there's that 24-hour supervision aspect in case they need something else. Our memory living is really devoted to residents that do have some form of dementia, and there's really robust programming involved to ensure that they're getting really great days. So it's a whole nother level of care and programming involved for those folks.
And in terms of these different levels of care, is that something families should consider when they're evaluating their options?
Absolutely. When you're touring homes, it's best to look into the future. So take what you know now, but look at the long-term goals in terms of what you or your family member might need, and take that into account, and find the home that will suit you now and well into the future.
And can you discuss the importance of social connection within your homes? Because a lot of retirees, they'll be living at home and maybe everything's fine, but they're on their own and they may not have that social network. How does Chartwell kind of incorporate a social network and enhance that?
Absolutely. We have so many families who call us because they have a loved one that is at home alone, and they really feel isolated. And that really occurred during or was more noticeable during COVID times. But people are still calling us now and saying, I'm worried. My mom or my dad is not spending as much time with other people. It's only our interactions. So after they move in, we do a lot to introduce them to other people that have similar interests. And sometimes that means doing work in the community. Sometimes that means getting just having social hour. And it could mean doing some programming that really is meaningful to them. And of course, making new friends. Having that reason and a purpose to get up every day is so important.
Yeah, it's so important. And do you have specific communities, events, or partnerships within the community that enhances your resident experience?
Absolutely. We actually have a program called our Hope Program, which gives our residents an opportunity to give back to their community. And that could be something as simple as knitting booties for newborns. We also love to go out and do walks, MS Walk. There was the Alzheimer Walk this weekend, and we love to show our support with those types of events. And I love being involved with those as well.
Is there any specific stories you have? I would imagine that people want to be involved in the community. Is there any specific stories you have of a retiree that wasn't so involved and chose to be involved in a community initiative that really enhanced their lifestyle?
It happens all the time. There's not just one person. I think it happens overall with most of our residents, where they're coming from a situation and they don't have that support in place to be connected to the community. And what Chartwell can do is offer them those connections. So quite often I will see people that have moved in and maybe they're feeling a little bit shy and uncertain or where to start, but we can help them find their path. And really what we try to do is look into what they've done in the past and help them to do that again in our community. So it's really wonderful when we see somebody that has moved in, not so sure, and then thriving 3 weeks later, surrounded by new friends and having dinner and going out on our outings and really just thriving.
I would imagine it's scary for a retiree to move into a brand new place. They may not know anyone.
Yeah, it can be. A lot of times we have people who are ready, willing, and able, and which room or when can I come? But sometimes we have people who are on the fence and they're not quite so certain. So we have a lot of programs in place, orientation, if you will call it, and with that, we help introduce to other residents. We have resident ambassadors who live with us who will gladly show them the ropes. We help assign them dining mates with people who they would have similar interests with. And really, I think the whole thing is to start early in the conversation. So talk with your families earlier so they can get used to the ideas. And when they move in, it's not such a foreign idea.
And that really brings me to my next question is, what role do family members play in this overall transition?
Oh, well, for that, it can be the things like, unpacking the home and setting up their new apartment. It could be taking care of the paperwork. There's a lot of things that families can do, but the most important thing is to have that emotional support, to really be there to help reassure that this is a positive move.
And we often find that the families are the ones to initiate the conversation with a parent or a loved one of when they may want to consider moving. Is there any advice you have around that area? Because we find a lot of times it'll be a family member pushing a parent to move where the parent has already lost some independence. Is there any way you can speak to that and address what the right or proper time is for someone to look to move?
Well, there's not a proper time for everyone. As I mentioned earlier, starting earlier and having those conversations earlier, doing your homework and involving the person you're looking with as much as possible, letting them make sure that the choice is there and empower them to and choose what feels like home for them. So I always recommend to tour multiple communities to see what feels like home, and really is just starting early and promoting the fact that their communities are built to help people, thrive, not just survive anymore. It's really a great transition if you want it to be.
And how do you show seniors or their families what it will actually look like?
Oh, well, we have a lot of programs that we offer. I mean, sometimes people come and join one of our activities that they enjoy. Sometimes we have foodies who, meals are most important, so they'll come and join us for a meal. We also offer experience days. So if you'd like to come and stay with us for a couple of days and get to know who's living there, you're welcome to do that as well at no charge.
And obviously, it's a big transition for someone to move into a retirement home. And we kind of come and look at it from the financial aspect. You provide a place for them to live, a place for them to move. How do you see the role of financial planning in terms of retirement living?
We see a lot of families that are uncertain about the future, especially in today's climate, and really are sometimes hesitant to make a move. And I always redirect them to an RBC financial advisor because I know that they will have some great advice. They'll be able to plan for the future, which gives them the confidence to move forward.
It comes to peace of mind. So if a client doesn't necessarily have the financial plan in place, they may be nervous, their children may be nervous about whether or not they can afford it. And we've seen where if someone's moving into the retirement home, there's monthly payments and things that come up, they want to make sure that they have the capital to be able to spend on those things. When it comes to pricing, how do you set your pricing? And if someone's nervous that the pricing may go up, so rents, obviously things go up, there's inflation. How do you kind of balance that, the proper pricing and where things can go up, but obviously not squeezing the residents?
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, you're looking at what someone's budget is. And I really believe that there is a retirement home available to everyone. And we have homes that will offer the most luxurious type of lifestyle. And we have homes that are a little more simple. So I look, again, as I said earlier, it's probably best to look at what you need now and then what you're going to need in the future and budget for that. Because you're right, things do change in terms of what rent is, but because of our communities allowing a senior to age in place, care needs are also going to change. And you have to take that into account, that even though someone is quite independent now, what does the next 7 or 8 years look like? Will they start needing more care? And think about what that budget will look like at that time.
And it's great that you offer that kind of service. So there are homes that maybe don't offer memory care or things of that nature where a resident may be forced to move. So in Chartwell, because you have those options, the retirees can move once and stay where they are.
Many of our residents do move and stay with us until end of life. And we do have sometimes people moving in and staying with us until a long-term care bed comes up. And it's really what I always say is do it earlier when you have the choice to make, and you get to pick and choose where you want to be when you're in a position that someone else is making the choices for you and you don't have as much say.
And has this experience of working with seniors in retirement homes changed your own outlook on aging in retirement?
Well, I think people sometimes think of old people as it's so foreign. But one thing that I know is I've made a lot of friends and I've made a lot of relationships with people, and you would be surprised of the life stories that you've heard. I have heard of people who have fought for rights for women. I've heard of people that have had just incredible life stories who live with us, and artists, and just to listen to, their whole life story, it's fascinating. And we really bond with our residents. And that's what I'll always take with me. And that's why it's important for me to be at Chartwell.
And of course, the needs of seniors are constantly evolving and changing. Is Chartwell adapting to meet the changing needs and preferences of aging population?
Yeah, definitely. I would say even 10 years ago, things looked differently. We're now looking at green programs. We're looking at enhancement in AI, and we're looking at overall wellness and holistic programming, which people didn't talk about, but that's, I think, the wave of the future.
So there's been a major innovation in AI now. Is Chartwell incorporating AI technology in future care?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any way around it. I expect to see in the future more things like wearable technology for health monitoring, for falls, and there's so much more coming in the next few years. I'm excited to see it.
And for someone who's looking at retirement living spaces and unsure of where to start, what advice would you give them?
Most people start their searches these days on Google, and I would say look at reviews. They're so important. Read what people are saying, not just what the star level is. Look at Facebook. And then when you've narrowed it down to a few places that look like might suit your needs, come in and tour. I would say a minimum of 3 homes, and join the community so that you can get a feel, meet the residents, meet the staff. I think everybody that offers these types of services has the right heart, but there's going to be a community that feels like home for you.
And as a final question, is there something you'd like to share with our listeners about embracing this next chapter in life?
Absolutely. I would say, start your search early, get out to as many places as possible, and, look at it with the lens of positivity. We're here to support you and make sure that your days are amazing. And this is a great time to live your life, and we can help you do it.
Well, Laurie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for listening to the Next Stage podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to follow the show and share it with someone who may benefit. For resources and ways to connect with trusted professionals, check out the show notes below.